Yeah, we're taking seconds. Yeah. Perfect.
See how it works out.
There you go. Never hurts to have a prop.
The bird walking around here we didn't see.
Obviously.
You hear him?
It's a big one. Sounds the clock.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sometimes. You're so crazy. Ants. So sorry. Ants. Better way to get it.
You hear well? Guys,
Ants.
there's just a lot of background noise. A lot of background noise. It's just to be expected. I think there's going to happen. So you just gotta be, try to be loud. There's a ton of. So I'm going to talk right now. I'm very animated. That's just the way I'm supposed to. Do you want me to talk this loud?
Well, I mean, the other thing is we could hold these closer.
Yeah, I was just going to say. Yeah. So is this a better way? You're better at this point. Oh, it's really. It's got second. Okay.
Everything's played.
Okay, so we're ready to roll. Yeah. It's not that much better, but I think we just have to. We're just gonna have to speak to this lot more. Yeah. Okay, you can bring up there.
My
Credit card and his license.
So I'm gonna go at this level. Is this the appropriate level for me to talk?
Oh my God, they're sideways.
Their side. Oh, the layout.
Look at how it looks sexual.
See there. Is your see there?
Maybe.
No.
How do I?
Cheeks are getting flushed.
No, it's on.
Cheeks are getting redder.
Can't hit the button. Ugh. I can't hit the button.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're gonna mute the audio. So that our You guys can try now.
I'm going to talk now, and can you hear me?
Oh, right, I'm going this way.
I don't know.
Okay, sorry, you turned off. Okay.
Now it's almost completely gone. Then let's go right there.
Hello, can you guys hear me? Are we ready to roll? Can we,
You can talk.
are we live at this point that I can say hello to everybody? Or should I just, you know, file? Yeah.
We're listening to audio.
We did a mic check and
I think it's yeah.
that's my,
That's
that's a great. Can you hear that? Shoot,
Say something. Hello. Mic check. Check.
Nice conference.
Still waiting.
All right, are we good to start?
yeah.
Okay, so I can start.
Okay. Yeah, just speak loud in case.
Well, are we live right now or not?
Yes, you are live.
Okay, so we are live now. I love this when they make us go live. So tell us that we're live. You know what? That's the blooper you don't normally get.
Yeah, and I'm not the kind of person you can leave on speakerphone
Oh, that's
or record without knowing. So
just,
you're lucky I was being quiet there.
all right. Seriously, especially when he's treated with an amazing parent. So,
That's not my parrot.
oh,
It's clear.
this is true.
I saw this bird, and I am becoming friends with this bird. This is not my bird.
This is true. And it is always nice to make friends with birds. But anyway, let me start, you guys. Hello, friends. My name is Salafia. I am one of the certified media specialists and founder of Exotic Pet Birds INC. I'm here today at Global Pet Expo with a real treat for you. Today, we are going to virtually meet Zeb Ernest. Zeb is one of the well-known aviculturists in social media, an all-around fun guy to watch on social media. We have been giving our audience a rare opportunity to ask Zeb some fun questions to get to know them more personally. So let's see what you guys ask us here today. Zeb, welcome. Welcome to Exotic Pet Birds' page. Welcome to, I believe we're on A&E's page as well today. We're coming live today from the A&E Cage Co. Pretty impressive booth that they set up here with a ton of enrichment stuff. Zeb and I have been visiting with our team from EPI to learn a lot about innovations in 2025. What do you think so far?
I think it's like Disneyland for pet people.
I
And
agree.
I know people love Orlando for the parks, but this is where it's at for me.
I love it. And you know what? I was joking with Zeb earlier that we have two teams here. We have Team Disney and Team Global. And both sides of our fence are very excited to be in their respective place. I am so global.
Someone just commented every time you say Zeb, it's auto. The closed caption are saying Dad.
Dad? Oh my God.
It's
They now
probably
call
for
me
the
Daddy
birds.
Zeb.
Okay, there we go, everybody. We love it. We love it. All right, so we
Please don't.
apologize for that
Please don't.
closing action, but it could make it more fun, actually, so we're all for that. So, Seth, what brings you, I'm going to start us today with what brings you to Global Pet Expo?
Well, you do, actually. So thank you. Very nice to meet you. It's the first time meeting you. I am a lifelong fan of the pet industry in general. I think many people have heard my story about how my my username online is Blue Planet Pets because when I was a little boy, I absolutely loved going to the pet store and I had this dream of having my own and I wanted to call it Blue Planet Pets, right? So I spent the majority of my 20s kind of learning everything I could about the pet industry, from mom and pop operation up to the big box stores. And I used to go to a similar show in Vegas, Super 2, and I loved it. It was the coolest thing. And so when I hear about these shows, I always kind of get a little reminiscent, nostalgic, because that'll always be a part of me. It's so fun to be here to see people walking by with their beautiful dogs. Some of the dogs are wearing costumes. There's new products. There's fish stuff, reptile stuff.
It's funny, I hear you say how it was a dream to have a pet store back in the day. And I gotta say that's me. That's what I was. I was a pet enthusiast. that just completely want to open my own store and having a love of birds and reptiles. That's where our focus is. And I love to hear that there are other people that had that same kind of thoughts going. That's very, very cool. Um, so I'm going to go through a bunch of questions today. I'm going to bring in some questions in between some of the users that have been selected. If we selected you guys for your question, we are going to shout out your names. Forgive me if I don't pronounce that correctly. I'm going to do my best. But the next question we're going to ask is, how does it feel to be such a well?
That's very kind. Maybe strong wording on your part.
It's all good.
Is that your question?
No,
audience?
that I think is an audience. No, that was not an audience. You know what? I think that's mine because I didn't label that to a person. But I'm going to tell you something. You're followed by roughly 800,000 people on TikTok, another 100,000 people on Facebook. You care for animals day in and day out. I read about it. But you also have a lot of beautiful birds.
Sure.
And I, as the owner of Exotic Pet Bird Science, I also tell people you don't have to be a breeder. You don't have to be someone that has the level of birds that you have, whether they're advanced care birds or smaller little canary birds. You can still be considered an apiculturist. So I would have to say you're very popular apiculturist.
Well, thank you.
Realize you're right?
Yeah, I mean, I think of myself as a hobbyist. I noticed the fish keepers, they call themselves hobbyists.
Yeah.
And the herbers, sometimes they call themselves herpers. And bird people, we just usually call ourselves crazy. So,
Yes.
I am definitely more aligned with like pet ownership. Even though, in my young days, I did bring some pigeons as a kid, right?
Very
We
cool.
had some 4-H experience, which is awesome. I do like to think of agriculture for everybody because I want to get kids into it. I want their future with birds.
100%.
And that's really kind of what I do, even though I feel like somewhat happened on accident. I'm at that like top funnel part where TikTok, as you mentioned, has a large following. Huge numbers of people don't have birds. So they just thought that people got birds from wild or that they live their whole lives in cages. And I get the chance to show them what companions they are, how intelligent they are. The reality, both the joy and the struggles. I try not to be too negative because I'm really positive about all this stuff. But I can't lie, right? Birds are not going to be pet. But those words through, right? So
It's funny you say that. I have a little saying because I also do sports. And sports is something that back in like the 1800s, everybody had, right? And you have to be that rich to have a horse. It's like half a car. And I say that it's like a lost art. It's very similar to birds. I've said this before that anybody can drive a car. Only a few of us still ride a horse. And same kind of thing with this, in that it is not as easy to change this up because it's a different kind of level of animal. These guys are highly intelligent. This, and they're so fun. And actually, yesterday we were talking. We said about the snow under 5. How fun it is to finally break through, have that feeling. And I think that's pretty cool. Zach and I got a chance to talk a little bit about it. Sometimes for get to that moment where you create that bond, and you start to see the turning around, and the bird starts to be differently. Something about that, right?
yeah, they're not like a dog or a cat where they're already playful at a young age. Sometimes they are, and then they change. And sometimes you have to earn it. There's just so many birds and so many personalities. The experience can be vastly different.
100%. 100%. Okay, so we're going to start out with our first fan questions. This is going to come from Sedona Phelan Emery. Sedona asks, how do you feel social media has influenced modern agriculture?
Ooh, that's like a college level question. I could probably make an hour-long YouTube video on that one. Oh,
There you go. Sedona, you might just spark something more fun.
I think that number one, to say something negative, it killed the bird club. So we used to have bird magazines and local bird club meetings, and it was really fun to go to those because you could meet breeders. You could meet people that have all kinds of birds. Actually, first one popped to us. And it was at a third time. It's really cool experience. I never even saw one again. So it's like, so experiences like that, there's in-person experiences where people are coming from different angles of agriculture, you can maybe say, get to interact with each other. That kind of changed into forums, and now I think you see it on social media where maybe they follow content creators like myself, or maybe they're in Facebook groups. But there tends to be a little bit fragmentation, right? Like tribalism, where you stick to your one corner and you're no longer. Yeah, you may not have as open of a mind to something, and then you're not going to change your mind. You don't get exposure to that person who says, "Oh no, that's actually not true."
Right.
So
Or might have made a mistake. I mean, let's face it, people make mistakes, and they may have put something in print a year ago and then learned some changes that you may have changed their own, and you're taking an assessment. Whereas if you're one-on-one with someone like we're doing today, then you guys are getting the opportunity today, but is that it's a little different, right? Because we're talking, we're thinking things through, we're discussing things, and we may shape the difference in the conversation we're having. Whereas online, it's kind of hard to do sometimes, right?
but it's accessible to everyone too.
100%.
So I say it's separated us, but at the same time, it's made everything so much more accessible,
Yeah.
which is good. Just a real quick check-in. Since people are probably sending in comments,
Yeah,
but everybody here,
they can't
I mean, well,
can't hear you well, and they just started playing the stuff over there.
I know, but
It started cutting out when they started playing over there.
I have to put this in the back of my mouth.
I
Yeah.
know. So Zeb and I will try and speak louder for you. You should know that part of Global Pet Expo, there are people like that, there are people like me that are doing videos around us. So though we have the technology and we have some nice hardware with us here today, it is difficult because a lot of people are trying to accomplish the same thing for their pages, communicate with their people. So please bear with us. And we apologize if it's difficult to hear us. We will absolutely try and speak up. Are we getting a sound check over here, or are we doing any better with
I might have an option. You can keep going.
All right, we're going to keep going. Ryan is in the background, as is usual, in Exotic Pet Birds lives, and is working on increasing our volume. So that's
Maybe
not-
captions are an option too. People only can they turn
There are-
on captions.
There are captions.
Yeah,
Great.
there are captions.
So that's good. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh God.
That's how you get
Oh, I feel I need a shower now. I'm sorry.
About that, that's right.
Not with you. I'm
Okay, so while we're on social media, before we move on to our next thing here, enrichment opportunities, unique opportunities like this are important. You support pages like Zeb's and Exotic Pet Birds by following them, by liking comments like this, so that we continue to grow our audience and let other people share in experiences like this. So this is a shameless plug to follow Exotic Pet Birds INC and all of Zeb's platforms, and I'll leave it at that for the moment. But Zeb, I do have a follow-up on Sonoda's question, which is how do we know that we're following up valid page? What's the because you said a scam post a couple days ago, which was eye opener. So
Scammers are almost daily at this point. If you're on Facebook, look for that blue check. Right?
100%.
As a content creator, I pay a fee monthly. I had to give my ID up and show that I am who I am. So that's one way. The other way is that, like, speaking for myself always, I'm not selling anything. There's no reason for you to send money. There's no sign up. It's just me making content. You enjoy it.
And obviously we do because we're a store, but I will tell you that for the scope of scammer going into conversations as we're on this topic, one of the things that we do at Exotic Pet Birds is if you kind of come to our store, which is open 7 days, we do live videos. Someone's not going to do a live video with you where they look you in the face, let you see the animal is physically there with them. chances are there's a big red flag. And yes, they can say they don't have the technological capabilities, but you probably don't want to take a chance because you're already hasn't been launched. That blue check mark that Zeb is talking about is the verification badge. It is a badge that Facebook takes the time to verify that we are in fact the people that you say we are. So definitely, if you're going to join pages for education, especially because, like Zeb says, it does take place in so many other resources that you don't physically. You want to make sure. So,
Yeah.
so Zeb, we're going to move on to our next question, oops, which is, what is your must-have item in every bird?
Must have bird item in every owner's toolkit. There's probably a lot of fancy answers to this, but the most useful thing you're going to find is a scale.
Yep.
So it goes to that knowing your bird, daily interactions, but knowing what's unique for that bird. And I say that because look at a blue bulldog. Some of them are 900 grams, some of them are 1,200 grams, right? Like Goldies, some of them are big chunky butts, some of them are cute. I need to know what's not normal for a golden cock. I need to know what's normal for brown birds. When you start dropping, hey, thank you, and then you can actually do something about it. Wait too long, we all know it's don't say right, but
Were you?
we're gonna get some clues about how serious we need to get about. And I don't think I would do you believe this will be able to grow our home.
You everything.
Questions or something?
No, don't talk. Do not talk. That is awesome. Hate this one.
Oh my god! Nobody saw that.
Yeah.
You guys saw that. He's starting to warm up to me. His feet are real warm right now. He's getting relaxed.
Yeah, Zeb is muted at the moment right now. Yeah, he's getting really comfortable. You can see it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not.
You just have to unmute him and he's ready to roll.
No, you're not muted.
Cool.
Okay, so are we good to resume? All right, so I'm going to resume with our question. We apologize, but we're trying to make this volume better for you in the hostile environment of the retail world that we are hiding in. So
Your audio is not going to be as good as
my audio is not going to be as good. So I'm going to have to talk louder, which I will do for
Are you
you.
trying to get up here, huh?
That said, the question was, what is the must-have item to be in every bird owner's toolkit and go?
I'm going with a scale, a digital scale, because knowing your bird and what's normal for your bird, not just for a bird of that species, but your individual bird, having an average weight, knowing when they get a little heavy, when they get a little bit of light, it's going to help you make decisions, not just for vet care, but also maybe seasonal care. And it could save you the most money, if not save your bird's life.
Yep, and we said digital earlier. We were saying digital is best because it's easier to read it.
Yeah,
And
think so.
I would say gram for sure because you could lose just 5 grams is enough to start getting you on the path to trying to make changes and get healthcare advice from
Yeah.
professionals.
Absolutely.
So I agree with you 100% there. Hopefully you guys can hear us better now. We're going to go to Gracie Littich. I apologize if I butchered that name, but Gracie, we thank you for your question. And what is your take on pellets as part of the parrot diet? Is what your question is, number one. And what do you feed personally?
Um, a little friend here is getting friendly. So what's my take on pellets? Shout out to Gracie for the question. I've always fed pellets. I've always worked with vets that recommend I feed pellets. I've had really good luck with it. You know, I have to rely on the experts. There's people that have dedicated their lives to research, and they've done a lot of research. And so I put my trust in the experts. Now, what I feed, I currently feed Hari, Tropican, Lifetime for most birds, but I use alternative for some birds, especially like the older birds. Like my senior hyacinth will have the alternative. Um, that doesn't mean it's the only thing I feed, but I have it available for them at all times.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Well, shout out to Hari there. We definitely we support that as well. And we've carried them in store for many, many years as well. Because I think the product line is good and I think they do a lot of research, like you said. I like to work with companies that are going to do that research, that are going to be professional in a category. And I can stand behind a product that I personally feel like they're doing that. Their research center is amazing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
definitely agreed.
Yeah.
We're going to go back to another one of my questions. We're going to sprinkle in here. So the question is, how do you think bird stores can help support their local agriculturists?
How can bird stores support their local aviculturists? I'm going to say you can be our third place. And what I mean by that is do people really go outside of their home and their work anymore? Like where do you go, right? And I know some people would go to bars or maybe there was bowling clubs or whatever, but when you're in the bird world, you want a place to go to be with like-minded people. And that's easy on the internet, but it's so much better in person. So I think,
Absolutely.
if you could host things like fun events, maybe there is a bird club, maybe have a speaker, maybe you do something educational, but being just open and maybe there's sometimes an event that's outside of normal work hours for you so that people can attend. Oh, hello.
Right. Right.
He's trying to be a shoulder bird real
He-
hard.
Um, yeah, and he is definitely not into being
Good
second fiddle.
bird. Oh my goodness.
So
Um,
Live. That's what
love the
he's
live.
cool.
That's what it's all
Anyways,
about.
there's my answer.
Yeah,
I think just
I
agree. And I personally
I love that because I
I
personally
love
believe
that
that
because I personally believe that is a community.
I
I
always
always
say
say
that at this point I am no
that
longer
at
just the
this
owner.
point
I
I
am
am no
the
longer
custodian
just
of
the
it.
owner. I
I am
am the
bringing it to the
custodian of
next
it, and
level
I
of
am
fun because there's so many
the
people that
next
are doing
level of
so much
fun
now.
because
So
there's so
as a
many
bird
people.
store
Bird
owner,
store owner, I can appreciate that answer, and I love
I
that.
love
I
the
love the
community
community
factor.
factor.
That's what
That's
I
what I
think
think is an awesome answer for you.
Pass it back and forth.
You like the other phone better?
all right.
Creating an echo. So
Yeah, and I'm getting feedback over here too.
All right.
Yeah.
So let me answer our next question here. We're going to slide it back and forth. Okay, so I will be using a shared mic now. Man, we are working this, okay, for you guys. We want this to be the best audio in this building. Okay, so the next question we're going to ask is going to come from Tammy Fugman. Would you say Fugman? Is that a good way to pronounce that name? We're going with it. We're going with it, Tammy. We hope that that's your last name, is Tammy Fugman. Why can't I touch my macaw when my husband is off from work in the winter? But when my husband is working during the summer and spring and fall, I can touch and pick him up. That's the question from Tammy. So I'm going to give you the mic and you go for that.
So it's a question around behavior, which is going to be so hard to go off of one sentence, right?
100%.
Because you need to observe things. But it sounds like there might be an attachment there with the husband where the bird maybe sees him as a mate, right? Now, I would look into things like there's got to be a hilarious typo or something that's happening.
Oh yeah, there's something.
We're getting giggles from the background.
Yeah, we have a whole stand. You should tell them we have
Yeah.
a standby of people.
Well, anyways,
Someone just said we should start a GoFundMe for the audio.
I love that. That's hilarious.
uh, um,
That's funny.
I'd question, like, are there things that the husband does that lets that bird think that maybe they're closer to mates, right? There just might be a little handling thing. It also could not be, it could possibly just be nothing, right? Just the bird likes the husband better.
Right.
So my quick answer is, when somebody gives advice online, take it as something to investigate, but not absolute, like, truth, because until you're observing a bird, having somebody like watch from the outside, I don't know if you'll ever get like the best advice.
Right. Fair.
And I think the people that are like behavioral consultants would agree with that, right? They're gonna say, I can give you an idea, but until I watch, I don't know.
Part of it, you gotta be in there. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, let me. All right, great answer there, and I agree 100%. You should be there before you make any true consulting answers for that. But good generalizations there. So Amanda Tellerico, she asks, how do you address and manage common behavioral changes in parrots? And what enrichment activities do you find most effective for keeping them engaged? So thank you, Amanda. Hang on one second. I'll let Zeb answer that question.
Okay, I might need you to repeat half of it back to me. The first part was, how do I manage behavioral changes in a parrot?
Yes.
Okay.
Behavioral change.
Common behavioral changes.
Yep.
I would just say it's simple troubleshooting, right? Sometimes it's changing environment. Is the bird happy with me versus somebody else, right? What does the bird do with somebody that's a female instead of male, right?
Right.
If we change the cage, is it a toy that's scaring them? Is it something in the room? Is it being on this side versus that side, being near a window?
Environmental change.
It's environmental changes. It's really simple troubleshooting and observation. And then the second part of that question was,
And what enrichment activities do you find more effective for keeping them engaged?
what enrichment activities do I find keeps them more engaged? What I would say there is that you got to remember that if you put a toy in the cage, it's not very entertaining after it's been there for a while, right?
Mhm.
Enrichment can be anything. It can be changes in the weather, it can be audio, it could be looking out the window. But if you look out the window all the time, it may not be interesting, right? So it's a good idea to, maybe if you have toys, rotate them from cage to cage, or have like little buckets of, this is your Monday toys, your Tuesday toys, things like that.
Rotation is huge.
Yeah, so I'm a bigger fan of doing more new than just flooding the cage with like a million things.
Love it.
I'll grab this one. So, question from me that we're going to throw out here again, and I'm stealing the opportunity to ask what he thinks we should do for great bird stores in our country, because there's not a ton of us left, to be honest with you. There should be more of them, but there are not. So, what are the things that you believe all great bird stores should have a nice selection of for its clients to pick from?
I would think that specialty things that we need and we're not going to be able to get anywhere else. So, do you offer, food for senior birds or for younger birds, high maintenance birds? If I'm in a pinch and I need a syringe, can I get one of those from you? Another one for people with big birds, like, do you really have big bird toys? Because it's hard when you have big birds. Sometimes just finding a perch, just a simple wooden perch that's big enough. Having the giant toy that's going to last them at least a day or two. Um, yeah, basically, if you're going to specialize. Be a place where I can get a tree stand from you, and carry something that is more than what I can just see at my first Google search.
Love it. Love it.
All right, we're going to do another question from Mo McClurkin. Mo asks, when rescuing a parrot, what are some of the things to look for in order to try and avoid a really neurotic bird or one with an underlying health issue, we'll say?
He's dancing. All right. So how do you avoid picking out a bird when when you're in an adoption situation, and I guess I'm reading it as you're afraid to get one that's a little neurotic?
Sounds like she's looking for someone that may not have a complicated history.
Gotcha. I think a bird A bird that repeats its name over and over and over again, in my experience, has always shown to be a bird that, yes, it talks, but you may not enjoy it. Might have a little weird tick, right? I think that a bird that is very flighty and frightful, right? The kind of bird that just leans back on the perch. That doesn't mean it's not a great bird and it doesn't deserve a loving home, but a bird that is very afraid of changes is likely going to need more work than the one that came up to you, right? And then the second part of that, I think, was just a general question about like in good health, right? So you're gonna look at the nares, maybe if you can feel the keel bones, see if the bird's overweight, underweight. Yeah, see if you can look at the cloaca.
Yeah.
I would also tell you to temper your expectations if you're adopting a bird, right? That's kind of the deal. Is you're not getting
The baby.
yeah, you're not getting a perfect baby. You're getting a bird where it sits today, and that's okay.
And let me borrow this for a second. I'm gonna join in on this one too because I've seen both sides of this. Having done consignment in our store where we help rehome birds, there's a history there. There's definitely a history that comes with a bird that is going to be acquired after it was initially sent to someone's home. So you're getting all of that history, whether it's become afraid of children because they might have been too aggressive in front of it by accident, perhaps. Whether it doesn't like men or women because maybe a person that was in its life backed away and taught the bird that it's okay through body language to not be near a guy because this guy is always scared of me. So probably most guys are like that. There's all that history. Would you agree with that? I mean, you've got quite a few of them in your flock that you've probably had to go through that. Um, okay, so we've got another question coming in from one of your followers. I only have a first name. Her name is Barb, so I apologize for that. But if you're not allowed to pick one of your birds, what would be your favorite bird?
We get this question all the time. Uh, if I'm not picking an individual bird of my own and I'm just picking on a species level, obviously it's very hard for me to consider golden conures, to consider hyacinths, but
Warn you, you're sitting next to a black pond.
I am not making eye contact while I discuss this. Uh, I truly think scarlet macaws are still my favorite. They're not easy, but that's what I love, right? It's like that movie How to Tame a Dragon. Like when you earn their trust, when you are the chosen one, there's no feeling like it. It's so cool, and they are obviously gorgeous birds. They have all the colors, and I'm a macaw person all day long. So
Big
yeah.
time. Love it. Yep, I'm a big macaw person. Blue and gold is my pick for the macaw, but I definitely can see scarlet as a top favorite there as well. I'm gonna finish with a question from Frankie Dustman. Frankie says, "Have you ever or wanted to own any bird that are not parrots?"
Yeah, I like minas. I had a mina, but I've always wanted to have a hill mina. I think bluebelly rollers are another bird that I think is really amazing to see. Taracos, Lady Ross Taraco specifically, is one that left an impression on me at one point in my life. And I did keep pigeons as a kid, and I think they're amazing too. I could totally see being involved in pigeons one day. Uh, but realistically, I have a lot of parrots, and I'm probably going to stick with that.
It's a fair answer. So Zeb, the team in the background over here is saying that a lot of people were thinking this might be live Q&A that people are going to ask right then and there. So there might be a couple questions floating around. Should we take a look see and see if there's any?
That's up to you.
Uh,
We wanted to.
Yeah, I know because we do have. What do we have going?
Idea.
Go for it.
If we give it a break, we can set up away from that music and use a different mic and have a stronger success.
I love it. I love it. Let's do that. So okay, so Zab has given us a awesome suggestion. We're gonna take a break here, collect your questions. So if you do have questions and you want one last shot, we could go live in.
Do an hour.
Yeah, we'll go live in.
3 o'clock.
Yep.
I can-
So we'll go live at 3 o'clock with your follow-up questions. This is your last shot to get a question in for Zeb. And we will try and get our microphone in order. Hopefully that GoFundMe goes live. Just kidding. Kidding.
To give him a second to ask questions.
Okay, so I'm out of questions here, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to reiterate this again. We're going to give a 3 o'clock opportunity to meet with Zeb one more time, so you can ask your questions. So if you were thinking that the questions were going to be asked here, this is your moment to say, "Hey, I'm going to ask my question here in this live." We will check the comments in here. Our team will take a minute and go through there for the next half hour. We'll try and collect some, get some more questions out to you, Zeb, if you're game for playing along. We appreciate it. We're going to let our palm cockatoo go relax. But we thank him for joining us today. This is actually a 6-month-old baby. We didn't really talk much about him, but a very, very cool black palm cockatoo that is here for the show.
Birds are not for sale at the show. I think it's important.
No, oh yeah, that's a good point. If you don't know what Global Pet Expo is, this is really for products that stores sell. So in particular, there are national brands that are here shopping as buyers, but we are also here today as a buyer to shop for our local stores and to get competitive pricing and to get great ideas. We've already met with a couple companies today, one of them A&E, that we're going to be bringing in new products for the 2025 season. We've learned from people today. Seb's been with us. I got I got some really cool things. I got to give you a huge shout out and thank you today, Zeb, because I did get to bounce some questions off of you as well as the rest of the team. Thanks to them as well. Um, we looked at some brooders today. I was saying, should we do this? Should we not? And got some cool input from you on that. We went to visit over at the Hari station and got some cool ideas for different products that they carry. So huge shout out to Zeb for our personal community at Exotic Pet Birds INC. I love to have, I know you don't think of yourself as an aviculturist, but you are one. And it is very, very cool to get your input. So we thank you for that. So at 3 o'clock, you can join us back. We're going to get any final questions asked. We're going to try and stay away from the loud noises that decided to set up camp away from us or next to us rather. And we're going to try and get this mic situation a little bit better because believe it or not, the technology is here. We're just fighting the ever changing retail environment around us. So thanks for having us here today, everybody. Are we good to sign off for the moment?
Yeah, we'll just let you know. To comment.
Yeah, so do put your comment or your questions in this comment on this thread. This is where we're going to be looking. We're not going to have time to go looking everywhere. So if you have a question, you want to throw it out there, this is the thread we need you to comment on. We'd love to ask more questions, answer more of them for you. But again, this is us signing off. We're going to go have a little quick lunch in between and check out a little bit more of what's going on around us because there is so much going on here. Agreed? All right, we good, guys? Okay, we're signing off.